If you are not in a good place with yourself, but you go out because you're scared of getting FOMO, like, you're still going to have a bad night. You are.
Yeah, and maybe even worse, because then you're, like, in a bad attitude, and then you're, like, spreading it to other people, almost, like, waiting to, like, kind of pick a fight.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because you have all this emotion on deck, ready to release, and you're just waiting for someone who doesn't know that you're dealing with all this emotion to say the wrong thing to you, and all of a sudden you're just ready to go off on them.
Pop off.
And then that's what happens the next day. You wake up embarrassed because you're like, why the fuck did I go off on them like that?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I've been miserable for like 3 months.
Right. It's not about them at all.
Yeah, and now you got to go do your apology tour.
Uh-huh. Hi, besties.
Hi, besties.
Hi there, besties. How are you? How are you? Oh, wait, like Dora? Waiting for a response.
What's good?
To do that. Lots is good.
Yeah?
Actually, she's feeling very optimistic, like during Aquarius season. I feel like I'm feeling like a rebel. You know what I mean? You know, I already have a problem with authority, but I feel like in Aquarius season, I'm extra just like, fuck the man.
Yeah.
You know, so
fuck
I feel
society,
like,
fuck everybody who tells me what to do. Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel that way all the time, but during aqua season, I definitely feel my rebel just coming the fuck out.
Yeah, you know, like it's extra shining. Like, of course, I also just hate authority. I feel like I'm always pushing against it, but for whatever reason, I feel like it's just like a little extra chef's kiss during Aquarius season.
It's just wild too, because I feel like when we're young and going to school, they dictate how good of a student you are based off of how well you follow directions.
Right.
And I think that is the most frustrating and the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah.
Because they actually don't want you to have any free thoughts. That's why they're like, oh, you know how to follow directions? Good job. Now you'll go work at a corporation where you'll follow directions all day, every day.
Right. They just want you to be a little minion in their wheel.
Yeah.
You know, regurgitate everything that they say and go along and don't have a mind of your own.
But you feel so bad when you're a kid or when you're a teenager and you're not good at following directions. You feel like there's something wrong with you. And I've come to realize, like, no, you're probably just a leader.
Yeah. And they don't know what to do with leaders in school.
They don't know what to do with you.
They only really know how to make followers.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And honestly, like, I don't want to shit on teachers because there's plenty of good teachers, but also there's plenty of shitty teachers who should not be in teaching positions, who see that you are probably the kind of student that likes to talk back or ask questions and ask why. And the shitty teachers always get pissed. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because you can't follow directions, you know? They're like extra just mean and sassy to you.
Yeah.
And like kind of hit you back with like comebacks. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I totally know
why
what
are
you're
you trying
talking
to make an example out of me? I'm just asking a question.
Yeah. No, I feel like some teachers get like power hungry in that sense where it's like, I don't know, they get like a power trip off of like embarrassing you in front of other people.
For
like,
sure.
Your peers.
They want to
humble
you.
And it's
they
like,
want to humble you. And it's
why
like,
do you want to humble a child so bad? Like,
you're
what's
like in your
going on
30s,
with
40s, even late 20s, and you want to have this sort of interaction with a child.
Right.
And you winning because, you know, you're in a place of authority makes you feel better at night. Like, that's pathetic.
No, it's absolutely pathetic. And yeah, I feel like we should give credit to teachers because, first of all, teaching is a very, very hard job. But I feel like
in
a
America,
lot of people,
especially, the teachers are not paid enough. They're not treated right. Like, it's just all fucked up, our education system here.
Truly. But I also feel like to be a good teacher, you have to be flexible and adaptable and have to be able to work with a lot of different personalities and know that one thing doesn't work for every single child. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of our system and a lot of America is like one size fits all. And it's like, not really.
Yeah. Also, you have to be patient. You know, I feel like a lot of people are not patient.
Yeah, that's true.
And when you're not patient, you get frustrated easily.
Also, if you don't have like a deep understanding yourself, you get flustered when people start to ask you questions, you know? So maybe it's their own lack of like knowledge that's making them feel uncomfortable.
That's sad.
Which is sad, yeah.
But that's like, what I talk about too. I
supposed to be
feel like
working
even
together.
besides teaching, I feel like when people get older, they almost have this huge ego that they can no longer learn anything from anyone anymore.
Yeah.
Like that they all of a sudden know everything. Like, I'm an adult, I know everything. You don't know everything.
Right.
It is not possible. And like, honestly, if you're an adult and you think you know everything, I don't want to be in the same room as you, because you are probably going to annoy me and I'm going to find you boring.
Right.
Because you love to talk about the things that you are really good at, but not about anything else, because it makes you feel uncomfortable learning about a new subject, talking to someone that knows more than you in terms of that subject.
Right.
You know?
You probably always talk about the same thing.
You probably do. And you
I
try
mean?
to bring the conversation
Always
back
to
to the things that you're good at.
Right. And I feel like that's just like a very boring and mundane life.
Yeah.
You know?
If being an adult means that I'm no longer curious, count me out.
Right.
Like,
I don't want that.
I want to be curious till the end of my life. I always want to get excited about new shit, learn about new shit, ask questions.
And I feel like for whatever reason, some adults really try and smush that in children, and then also in other adults that they see.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean? Or try and like belittle it, like you're not mature if you have these like qualities. And it's like, no, these are actually amazing qualities that make wonderful people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know? But they try and make you
Absolutely.
think like it's not a good quality. Like you said, like how
it
teachers try and
brings out their insecurity. It goes back to also what you were saying. When you feel like people are passionate about something and you have lost your passion for life and you haven't felt that in a long time, of course you're going to look at them and have this sort of envy.
Yeah.
But you would never ever admit that and be like, I'm envious of your passion for life. You will judge them. You will make them feel shitty for being that passionate. And like, get away from people like that. Like, honestly, if you have a passion and you want to go after it, but you are nervous because you're around people who are boring and mundane and who never ever, push their own limits, find a new circle of friends. Find, you know what I mean? If it's your family, get away from them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, find people who also have this thirst for life because it's exciting. And also it puts a fire under your ass when you're around people who also want to go after what they want.
And those people actually will probably believe in you more than those other people that you've been hanging out with too.
For sure. And
You
you can bounce back and like have all these ideas together. Like, it's a collaborative moment. And there's nothing more beautiful than that, honestly. Like, talking to someone who is so boring and who will never ever engage in a passionate conversation with you. Like, I don't want to be around people like that.
Yeah, no. Because that means I'm not growing in life. And that's literally the worst. That's like my biggest fear is to like stop growing, to stay stagnant, you know?
For sure.
The only thing that is constant in this world is change.
Yeah.
You know? So you
I
have
just-
to like...
I just don't like people who are very comfortable
times.
doing the same thing forever because it's comfortable.
Yeah. I know. Me too.
Because those people are usually the most judgmental. Are
Yeah.
they not?
No, they really are. And they're the quickest to be like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds
think
like a
of
bad
all of these
idea.
things that might happen. Well, I don't want to think about all those bad things. I want to think about the good things that might happen.
Right.
But this is why you're unhappy, because you literally are always thinking about what could go wrong. And that's why you don't ever put yourself out there.
Right.
Fuck that.
It sucks the soul right out of like the fun. You know
really
what I mean?
does.
It literally sucks the life out of you.
Well, I mean,
people like
how
that.
often do we talk about like manifesting? Like, to manifest, you got to believe in what you're trying to manifest. Like, that's the type of energy you need to start with, is just believing that you deserve it. And those kind of people, they can't even have the type of imagination that would allow them to think that, oh, this good thing can happen.
Right.
I don't want to be around closed-minded people like that. They're going to suck my energy dry.
And you're going to keep me from getting opportunities, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because, like, what if something came around where I met somebody else and I was like, oh, shit, like, we should go hang out with that person, but I'm still hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, Maya, like, I don't want to go, but because I have loyalty to you, then I stay with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, like, that's,
And
again, an opportunity where you could be growing. And, like, that stuff really does happen. You know what I mean? Like, Sarah wouldn't do that, but you guys get what I'm trying to say.
I know totally what you mean. And that's the thing. I feel like these people usually, let's talk about it in terms of friendship. These people don't want their friends to make new friends. Because like you were saying, if their friend were to meet someone who has the same type of energy as them, who believes in them, then yeah, maybe they might look at you and be like, you haven't been a good friend actually. And you're kind of negative. These people are usually very, very possessive.
Yes.
You know? Because they know their shortcomings.
And they know that they probably found something good in you. And as soon as you realize it, you're going to leave.
Yeah. Be careful with these energy vampires. For real.
For real. Oh my God. Getting the chills just thinking about them.
I know.
bad friendships. Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay, so I want to talk about Euphoria.
Oh my gosh.
'Cause listen.
Yes.
Euphoria, the energy it gives me, I feel like I am on the drugs with them.
Yes.
Like, I really do. I really feel like when I'm watching this show, I feel like I am on one. And I feel like I'm on Adderall when I'm watching it because my anxiety is through the roof.
So
And I
anxious.
feel their energy, and I feel like maybe it's because it reminds me of times when I was young and I was filling the void with all the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I was in deep pain, I wanted to be accepted so badly. And like, that's what I see in this show is that they are all in very deep pain, but they're hiding it in different ways.
Yes.
You know, and they're kind of losing themselves in these experiences, drugs, all these different things to kind of pretend that they're okay.
Yeah.
You know, and
Oh my
just the
gosh.
way this show, I feel like, shows trauma and like the different chapters of trauma, like where your
Yes.
trauma started, how it's carrying over, what your parents still in your life, what your parents not in your life. It's groundbreaking.
Yes.
The way this show portrays trauma.
Yes, and it shows it in generations, you know what I mean? Which we know to be true, that there is generational trauma, and like you see it starting from season 1 in the womb with Rue, you know what I mean? Like she's in the womb, 9/11 is happening, and that stress, she feels that as a baby,
stress.
you know? And then other things like happen to her in life, but I feel like in the episode that we just watched about Euphoria, like it shows parts of Nate, but then also his dad Cal.
Yeah.
And it is just absolutely insane. I have to say that Cal's monologue in this most recent episode
is iconic.
Absolutely iconic.
Like, I know he's trash, but also, like, I'm happy that he can finally speak his dark truth.
Right.
Like,
he let it all out there.
I just wish more people, more parents were as honest as that moment, like, from the beginning.
Right.
Like, you would be a happier person if you were just honest with your family, but you literally pushed yourself to your limits to the point where you were living a complete lie, and then now you have this night where you get trashed and you come home and you're pissing on the floor and you're fucking literally like, first I'm gonna start with you, wifey. This is how I feel about you. Oh, son, you're pathetic. Like, it was just so wild seeing him, you know, talk to his family in this way. But it was so good. It was so good.
It was very real because, you know what I mean? I feel like in the prior seasons and episodes, we saw his frustration and his, like, weird, like, wanting to control everything. And I feel like in this episode, he
broke free.
He broke.
He broke
You know
free.
what I mean? Like, that alcohol just let it all flow out.
I know. He looked so fucking crazy with that
my
cast
God,
on his
he
head.
was
I'm like,
being
somebody
so
come get this
crazy.
man.
He
Like,
was being so crazy.
he was so crazy. But I don't know why. Like, watching Nate and his brother, like, looking down at his dad, literally having a breakdown, but, like, also talking about his deepest secrets. Like, I kind of love that for them. Like, yes, this is where your trauma started. What are you going to do about it? Your dad literally is not who he says he is, but you guys already had an inkling of that. So now that it's all out there, maybe we can heal.
Right.
You know? I almost would rather have people blow up like that than to keep this false sense of control and always, like, feeling like, oh, are they going to go crazy on me now? Are they going to go crazy on me now? Because they're always so controlled. And, like, misogynistic men like that, they're very scary to me. I'd almost rather have them be expressive of these crazy emotions because at least it's coming out.
Yeah, for sure. Because I feel like if it's not coming out with your words, you're not expressing yourself through your words, you're hurting people physically.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's his energy. Like, I truly feel like he could have hurt somebody that night with how he was acting. And I always kind of feel that way with him. Like, are you going to, like, punch one of the people you're having sex with because you, like, hate yourself so much?
Bruh.
It's just, like, very intense energy, and you're so right. It's like, it's better to release it with your words and put it all out there and, like, well, fuck it, than rather, you know what I mean, than potentially really hurting somebody.
For sure.
Because there's a lot of anger in there, and I don't know.
There's a lot of anger in there. And honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, before the last episode, I looked at the dad as someone that I feared. I was like, this man's crazy. Like, you don't know what he's gonna do. And then when he got, like, beat the fuck up by Fezco's, like, little brother, basically, you know, family, I'm like, you are pathetic. Like, this little boy literally fucking fucked you up, like, put you in your place, and now I can never take you seriously.
Right.
I can't ever take you seriously.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He came over there like, oh, I'm big scary daddy. Like, I'm going to put the law down. Like, I'm going to hurt you. And they literally put you in your place.
Honestly.
You know what I mean?
Honestly.
Okay, let's also talk about Cassie in this episode because she was also having a breakdown.
Okay, Cassie's always having a breakdown.
True.
I'm sorry.
She's going through it right now. She doesn't
have a sense of identity. Yeah. That's the problem.
Now that she's not in a real relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it. I feel like Cassie to me, and again, I got to preface this by saying, if you take astrology so seriously that you get butthurt when we, you know what I mean, say a certain character, fictional character is a sign, please exit out right now.
Right.
Because again, you have a whole chart. Don't get offended. To me, Cassie is a Libra sun with a Cancer moon.
Oh my gosh.
This girl, her whole identity is tied to other people.
Yeah.
Like, she wanted to be, you know, in that relationship the first season, you know, wanted to be accepted by her man. Now she's obsessed with her fucking best friend's man. And then she almost became Maddie. Did you see the last episode? Like, she literally was dressing like her. It's like, where is your identity? I need you to have your identity. And then I say Cancer moon because I feel like she is very impulsive.
Yeah.
She feels the need to use her emotions to get what she wants. And it's kind of chaotic. You know what I mean? Like, she definitely doesn't know how to ground herself, and she kind of lets her emotions lead the way, which is cardinal water to me.
Yeah. When that scene when she was in the bedroom with Nate and she was basically threatening to, like, I don't even really know what she was threatening to do because she wasn't going to tell her best friend that they were cheating. But maybe that's kind of what she was insinuating. But
Nate called her ass out.
He did.
Too, because it's like, that is only your comfort.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But I just feel like in that moment, she was being very emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And she was. Because he was like, you're blackmailing me. And she's like, that's not what I'm doing. And he's like, that's literally the definition of blackmail. And she's like, then I am.
She's like, and I'm crazy. Like,
she's like, I'm crazier. I'm like, but then whenever Maddie's around, you start crying and you're the victim. That's another thing. I feel like she plays the role of the victim often.
Really well.
And sometimes I feel like Cancer placements do that because they're the baby. They love being coddled. So I sometimes feel like when they don't get their way, they are really good at playing the victim to get sympathy points. After they've reacted in a very crazy way and threw a temper tantrum, then they start the victimization journey.
Yes. And then we see that at her birthday party when she gets too drunk, right? And
that was wild. And to me, that was crazy because obviously she found out in real time that Nate has been telling them the exact same thing. Which, come on, ladies, of course he is.
Obviously, that man is not that intelligent. Like, of course he's going to be feeding you the same freaking lines. And he's trash. Oh, gosh. I can't believe he's playing them like that. But I also just wanted to say how, like, funny but also sad it was when she was, like, peeking out from the sliding glass door, like, looking at Nate and Maddie. She just looked so sad because she would look at them and then she would take a drink from the bottle and it was just so
It was chaotic. And honestly, I feel like she just needs to tell the truth. You know what I mean?
She does.
Because you got to take ownership of your decisions in life. You, no matter what happens from now on, you have fucked your best friend's ex, current man, whatever it is, multiple times.
Yeah.
That's not going to go away. That happened. And yeah, she probably will never be fucking friends with you again. Like, people need to understand that. You made your decision.
Right.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. You wanted to fuck your friend's man? You don't have a friend anymore. Get over it.
For sure.
Clearly you didn't like her that much if you fucked your ex.
Right. But at least be woman enough to tell her. You know what I mean? Because it's like, imagine how bad it's going to be if she hears it from Nate.
She would never hear it from Nate. Someone else is going to see them. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yeah. I was hoping last night when she was so drunk that she was just going to accidentally blurt it out. But it didn't happen.
I just hated it. I hated it because she was crying. Bad. But also, can we talk about Sydney Sweeney and how much of an amazing actress she is? I feel like she is fucking bomb.
No, she was giving. No, like, I'm laughing at her, like, crying and drinking, but I feel like I've been that person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where I see somebody that I like, but maybe I haven't told them or something like that, and they're flirting with somebody else, and I'm like, fuck, like, I'm just gonna drink my sorrows away. You know what I mean?
For real. That's why this show is so intense, is because it hits. Like, whether I feel like you're probably Gen Z or millennial, maybe even older people, if you are watching a show like this, you can't help but put yourself back to that place where you wanted to control your life so badly, but you had absolutely no control because you didn't know yourself. Again, you were losing yourself in all the wrong things. It feels intense watching it.
For sure.
It does, because you want to help them make better decisions, but you know, like, at that age, you got to make your own mistakes.
For sure. And I think,
I can't even, obviously we're not glossing over Rue's story, but, like, I don't know if I want to even talk about that. Like, addiction is a really heavy topic for me, and I just don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
So don't think that we're just, like, glossing over it and we're not going to talk about, like, the important things that were happening too, but I personally don't feel comfortable discussing it because whenever she's on, it does make me genuinely uncomfortable when she's, like, about to overdose.
Yeah. No, it's a heavy topic that I feel out of my realm really discussing. But yeah, everybody can see it. You know what I mean? And experience it in their own ways. And everyone who deals with people who are struggling with addiction know, you know?
Absolutely.
Another reason why I feel like Cassie's drinking in this last episode was very triggering for me is because I have in the past, like, drank when I felt uncomfortable or, like, awkward or I was nervous or something, you know what I mean? And I feel like you see that happening with her in real time. And I just feel like this show is so real and it does a very good job of depicting really rough situations.
Yeah, depicting pain.
Real. Yes.
That's the best way I would describe it.
Pain and trauma, like you said in the beginning.
Yeah, it just shows you the inner workings of a teenager's mind when they are going through it and when they feel like their life is crumbling before their eyes.
Yeah.
You know? In different ways.
And completely out of control of it. You know what I mean? Like, not in control of their life.
I think it just makes me so uncomfortable because, like, a lot of times when I was out partying with my friends or drinking at a young ass age, even in college when I was allowed to drink, I feel like it reminds me of those times when I was having so much fun because we were partying, living it up. But deep down, I knew there was something missing and that I was sad or I was going through a breakup or a friendship breakup. Maybe I wasn't doing so good in school, like family stuff, like all that shit was happening. And just for those couple of hours of being with my friends, getting drunk, going to parties, whatever, it felt like everything was fine and everything was happy. But then the next day, all that sadness would come and take over again. Yeah. And I think that's why this show, is triggering sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like you speaking about that and just like the whole conversation we've had, this episode, now that I think about it, really kind of, the alcohol masked a lot of things. Yeah. And I feel like that is very real. You know what I mean? Alcohol can mask your feelings for the time being.
But it's always going to come out. I mean, that's how I feel about hangover anxiety. Like, if I have one drink too many, like, I wake up the next day and I start overthinking, like, what did I say last night that I shouldn't have said? Or was that weird? Do they think I'm weird because I said that or I did that? Like, you just start going through your night in a super critical way. And, like, I absolutely hate that. And I never, ever want to be drunk like that again because I want to enjoy my night and I want to remember my night. I don't want to have anxiety over what happened and just get too drunk because I'm uncomfortable with my environment. Like, that is not fun to me anymore. But when I was younger, it was definitely more prevalent, because I didn't know myself as well as I do now. So, of course, I would get that extra boost of confidence, you know, drinking, or I would, you know what I mean, be a little bit more ballsy. But then the next day I would be shy and timid again. Right. But now I feel like I'm confident without that. So it makes it easier to make better decisions.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, and I feel like for me, like, I had to be burned a couple times, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, I had to be fucking embarrassed by the things that I said and how I acted the night before to really kind of come to terms to, like, shit, I really don't want to act like that. And that means, like, I need to be aware of my limits. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In all situations. Because it's like, when you're with your friends, of course, you know, you feel more comfortable to, like, drink more, but maybe you're around people you don't know, and it's like, maybe you're drinking because you're uncomfortable, and then you're really drunk in front of people you don't know, and who don't know you. You know what I mean? And then, you get overcritical about all the little things that are happening. Yeah. And it's stressful.
It really is, honestly. I mean, I feel you about the whole getting burned and learning your lesson. I think that's how we all learn lessons. You know what I mean? Yeah. have to look at our behavior and be like, that is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I never want to be in that situation again. And that's not me. You know what I mean? For me, my version of that is emotions. Like, I feel like I have learned now, if I'm feeling a heavy emotion, if I get drunk, that's going to come out.
Yeah.
So like, or that's going to
be amplified.
That's going to be the theme of the night. Like, if I'm having a good day, go ahead, have a drink, have fun, because you're going to continue to be happy. But before, I would be angry or sad or going through some shit, and I'm like, let's live it up. You know what I mean? And I drink, and at the end of the night, I'm going to be like, I'm miserable, I was never happy, and I'm going to stand in front of all my friends and be like, I have to say something. I have a whole speech ready. I'm like, this is everything that's been going wrong in my life, and I just want you guys to know. And it's like, your friends usually probably knew you weren't in a good mood. Who are you lying to besides yourself? You know? And that's the thing. I've just learned to understand my emotions and express them so they don't just come out when I'm drinking.
Yeah.
That is the best part of adulthood to me, is understanding that my emotions are my friends and I need to express them when I'm not drinking.
Yes.
You know, like, don't keep it in and all of a sudden you're blowing up on the people you love, not just your friends, like boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Express yourself before you have a night out.
Yeah.
You know?
Before you blow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even besides drinking. Just express yourself. But, you know, since we're talking about euphoria and how much they fill the void with alcohol and drugs, you know?
Yes.
It makes for a messier situation when these things are involved and you've been suppressing your emotions.
Yeah.
Because shit's going to get messy anyway if you drink in and do But might as well, like, be in a good headspace.
Yes. And if you're not, don't engage.
Yeah, just don't go. FOMO is going to fuck you up. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
If you are not in a good place with yourself, but you go out because you're scared of getting FOMO, like, you're still going to have a bad night. You are.
Yeah, and maybe even worse, because then you're, like, in a bad attitude, and then you're, like, spreading it to other people, almost, like, waiting to, like, kind of pick a fight.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because you have all this emotion on deck, ready to release, and you're just waiting for someone who doesn't know that you're dealing with all this emotion to say the wrong thing to you, and all of a sudden you're just ready to go off on them.
Pop off.
And then that's what happens the next day. You wake up embarrassed because you're like, why the fuck did I go off on them like that?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I've been miserable for like 3 months.
Right. It's not about them at all.
Yeah. And now you got to go do your apology tour.
Or be embarrassed every time you see, you know what I mean? Because some people, you know what I mean? They don't address it, and they just like hide.
Some people just stop showing up. Like, what happened to so-and-so? We never see him again after that one night.
Right.
That happened a lot in college. We'd go out, we'd meet people, and then we'd become friends, like party friends, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
But then they would do some crazy shit, like running down the street, and you're chasing them so they don't get hit by a bus. And then they yell at you, but then the next day, they're nowhere to be found. You never see them again. They're like a ghost.
Right. They're like scared to like talk to you. It's like, I was really just concerned about you.
And I get it. At that moment in time, I wasn't perfect either. All you had to do would be like, hey, I was going through it.
Right.
But some people get so embarrassed that they just can't even come around anymore.
No, for sure. It's like, I think everyone would rather you just address it.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm the type of person the next day everyone like, you know, is over. I just walk out of my room like, you guys, I know I acted crazy as fuck last night, but I love you guys.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Literally. You know?
Yeah. Because the people who love you will know, hopefully, that that's not your real character.
Exactly.
You know?
And you always just have to do a good job explaining where you were coming from. You can't just, to me, I feel like you can't just be like, sorry, and then you walk away. Like, you have to let them know what you were going through, why you decided to do that, and why you're sorry. You know?
Otherwise, it's like not.
It's not genuine.
Yeah, because it's like you're probably just going to do it again.
And also, you're glazing over it.
Yeah.
I don't want a little, I'm sorry. I want to understand why. And how can we make sure that it doesn't happen again? How can I be a better friend?
Okay, so I kind of just wanted to talk about the Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, because it's happening today. Or, you know, it's actually over a couple of days. I think it's over 15 days, and like 6 or 7 of them are official holidays for
cool.
A lot of people. But Chinese Lunar New Year is, I feel like, really cool. It's like another type of astrology, and I'm not sure if a lot of people know about it. So similar as in Western astrology, there are like 12 as there are 12 signs, you know, zodiac signs, there are 12 animals that represent the different signs in the Chinese zodiac. Yeah, and ultimately, the Chinese zodiac, they believe that the people inherit the traits of the animals whose signs they fall under. But I thought this was really cool because it's like crossing over with the Aquarius new moon right now. So I feel like there's a lot of like positive energy to be like manifesting and like, I don't know, just making good use of the energy to like push you into the new year and starting like fresh. And each sign has, you know, different traits that like are about them, basically. Yeah. And I read that the tiger, you know, obviously if you think of the tiger, it's like they're fierce, they're proud, they're courageous. So if you're a tiger, I think people born in 1998, they are, you're the tiger. So that's supposed to be you.
So dope. I honestly love the Chinese zodiac, and I love that there's so many different types of zodiacs in the world because ultimately it helps you understand yourself.
Yeah.
You know, helps you understand the people you love too.
And I think it's really cool because like in Western astrology, you know, there are elements that are associated with the signs.
Yeah.
And it's the same in the Chinese zodiac too. There are 5 elements with them, but they use metal as one. But I think that's really cool too because it's just we're all energy, you know what I mean? It's all energy ultimately. And whatever you feel is calling to you, you know, I feel like you can take that upon you.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Pull from whatever.
Absolutely. I think I'm a wood dog. That's what I remember. Yeah.
Wood dog.
I'm a wood dog.
I have to look up what rooster I am.
To be fair, I don't know that much about Chinese zodiac or astrology. So I feel like if it's something that you guys are interested in, I would love to do some research and talk about, you know, first of all, ours, and then we can get into the other ones as well.
Yes.
But I do know that it's really interesting. They have like enemies.
Oh,
like
yeah.
certain animals, they have like enemies. So if you, let's say, you know, have a relationship with someone that is your enemy, like let's say, for example, I don't know if this is true, like let's say rat and like rooster. You wouldn't get along with those people. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like squares in astrology, but also in astrology, squares aren't always bad. It just means that you have a lot to learn from that person because you guys are so different.
Right.
So I wonder if it's kind of the same thing for Chinese zodiac too. If like your enemy, like even though you guys maybe don't see eye to eye, maybe if you have a lot to learn from them.
Yeah.
And them from you. If you guys know about it, comment down below. I would love to know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, because like I said, I was really embarrassed I didn't know anything about the rooster, so I just quickly looked it up.
Ah, look it up then!
Anyone born in 1993, this is relevant to you. It says roosters are very observant, hardworking, resourceful, courageous, and talented.
Ooh, I love that.
I like that.
Well, since you looked yours up, I looked mine up too. Because
Yes.
all I really know is loyal. I feel like that's just like so easy because you look at dogs and you're like, dogs are loyal.
Yes.
But it says dog people are reliable, loyal, faithful, and honest with a keen sense of right and wrong and a desire to support the underdog.
Aww.
That's me. Didn't I just say that in the last episode?
You totally did. We went off on it.
Yeah, we did.
Yes,
I love the underdog.
I actually love that because I feel like that does really speak to like a year of people. You know what I mean? People like who are our age. I feel like we're always trying to stick up for the underdog.
For
you know?
sure. Absolutely.
Like that's just like our generation.
Absolutely.
You know?
It is. And also like the Scorpio-Pluto generation.
Yeah.
You know? We want to change things.
Right.
Life sucks, but we're going to do something about it.
We're going to make a difference. Yes.
Okay. A Piscean queen is preggers. Rihanna's freaking pregnant.
I can't believe it. My auntie is pregnant.
Like, that's amazing. And I also love that this, you know, Pisces woman and Libra man kept their pregnancy, you know, a secret so they could protect their dream world from other people. You know what I mean? Like Pisces energy and Libra energy, they are the kings and queens of fantasy and like having this private life of like, you know what I mean? Just dream life essentially. And I feel like they don't want anyone else to fuck with their peace and with their energy. So I feel like that they did a good job at hiding it.
Yeah, they really did. Because I know that there were some speculations a few months ago.
I remember that.
But I was almost like, damn, y'all really like offended Riri out here. She's not pregnant. And then it just came out and I was like, oh shit, she really is.
I know. I get so annoyed when I see pregnancy rumors when no one's talked about it.
I know.
Like no one's confirmed it because it's like, why are you guys doing this?
For real. Because like if she wasn't and everyone was just like talking about her body, like she gained a little bit of weight. Like that's
disgusting.
That's so
or if
terrible.
she was trying to get pregnant and
it
she
didn't,
wasn't. Like all that affects a woman's mental state. The man too, but like especially the woman, because it's your body they're talking about.
Right. And it's like, and that's why they don't, tell us, you know what I mean? Like, so much negative energy for people who maybe don't like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky together. Like, being like, ew, like, that baby, why are you having babies? Like,
honestly, if we as normal people worry about the evil eye or worry about bad negative energy, like, celebrities deal with that on a grander scale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if people don't like you and they're sitting there congregating, talking about their hate for you and your baby, or let's say your man, like, I wholeheartedly believe in energy. Like, that could affect you. So I love that she protected, her peace. They protected their love bubble, because at the end of the day, you got to look out for you in this world. Even though she wants a lot of her fans to be happy for her, that doesn't take away from the fact that there's a lot of people that wish ill upon them.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting.
You can disagree with celebrities, people in general. You don't have to throw negative energy their way.
Right. Because, again, what did they actually personally do to you? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know these people actually, so why are you wishing ill upon them? It's just weird behavior.
It's weird as fuck.
But I'm very excited for her. I'm very happy to see this love baby, because I feel like they're so in love. They're, like, so obsessed with each other. And I feel like Pisces, Libra energy, like, they just get very, like, they love love.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Love.
And you're right. They create their fantasy world.
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
if you're not a part of it, they literally don't see you.
Right.
They're like, this is our bubble. This is our love bubble. So, like, I wish I could, have a microphone. I mean, I do. And tell people they don't give a fuck about
really
what you have to say. They're so happy. They don't care. They don't care.
Also, I was, like, thinking about this earlier today when I was in the restroom. That's where all my good ideas come from.
On the toilet.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, I wonder if this was planned. And I wonder if, like, celebrities ever nowadays don't not plan a baby. Do you get what I'm asking?
Yeah,
or what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Because I feel like they're so, like, rich, and I feel like they don't have really that much time. So I feel like it's almost, I mean, I'm thinking, is it an active decision for them always to be like, well, we're having a baby?
Yeah. I think it varies.
Yeah.
Pregnancy is such a sensitive topic. So I feel like it's not easy to be like, they did it like this, so everyone's doing it like this. I think it just varies,
No, you're so right. Because it's also very unpredictable.
Exactly.
It's like,
but I know what you're saying, that we do have the technology nowadays where it's easier to plan a pregnancy. But yeah, I don't know. For me, the vibe that I'm getting is that they were just in love,
making
love,
and
they got pregnant.
Gotta love, baby. No, that's kind of what I think too. But then I was on the toilet and I was like,
yeah,
I wonder if they planned it, because I feel like so many more women are doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I'm just so happy for her, because I feel like she has created a life for herself outside of, like, family, the themes of family. Like, she is at the prime of her career. And I feel like this is just amazing.
Yeah.
And not to make it about me, but, like, that is goals to me, is to be so happy with myself and what I have created for myself and the life I have for myself. And then I'm like, all right, it's time for me to give all that love to a baby.
Yes.
Like, truly, that is what I want for myself. I want to have all my time being selfish and do what I want to do. So when it's time for me to be a mom, if that is in the cards for me, that I'll just be ready to give this baby my all.
Yeah, because it's like you, in a way, lived your life. You know what I mean? You did everything that you wanted to accomplish, and now you're ready to share with another being.
Exactly. And, like, my biggest fear is, like, being the type of parent that didn't live their life, so they try to live their life through their child. And I get frustrated when I see parents being very controlling, and I can't help but think that it's because they didn't have their own life, so now they get to make decisions for their child almost as if they're living their life for them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be so happy with my life and my decisions that when it's time to have a baby, I just fully support that child with everything they want to do.
Because I feel like you have to be willing to, like, nurture whatever avenue they want to go. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes if you don't fulfill your own dreams first, you'll be trying to, like...
You push it upon them.
Yeah. And it's like, no, they don't need to fulfill your dreams. they should fulfill their own dreams, and you need to be sure that you're nurturing that in the right way.
Exactly. And giving them the space to figure out what it is that they want to do. You know, like this may be your hobby and you love doing it, great. Maybe your child will like it too. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll like something completely different than you. But if you are a helicopter parent, you're always going to feel like you have to tell them what to do, how to live their best life.
Okay, last thing on this whole, Rihanna pregnancy thing. Obviously, all the memes they were making about Drake were so funny.
Oh, yeah. Yo, I saw someone tweeted.
And Leonardo DiCaprio, too. Those were funny.
Someone tweeted, Drake's about to make Marvin's mansion.
Oh, my God.
Not Marvin's room, Marvin's mansion. Take care, too. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm crying.
I love that. I would be kind of here for it, though.
Yeah. Honestly, Take Care, too, I'm down.
Yeah.
You know?
We've
been getting a solid amount of hard Drake.
Right.
I'm ready for some soft Drake. You're a daddy now. Show us your soft side.
Right.
We ready.
It was just so good.
I know.
I love the internet.
The internet is so funny.
It's
and like,
so funny. Sometimes
also,
you guys are really funny.
It's a little dumb because people really do create these narratives that like do not exist probably. Like these celebs probably do not even think this much about each other.
No.
And they're probably so busy.
Right.
But in our world on Twitter, we're like, he's probably sitting in his room crying right now.
Right. Like Drake don't have his own thing going on.
Literally.
And like they didn't squash all the beef or whatever.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Come on.
Like I'm pretty sure
he has a whole ass son.
Right.
Not that means that he's in love, but like you know what I mean.
He's
like,
worried about his own love life.
But in our little sick minds, we're like, he cares. I know he cares.
It's like we're all so obsessed with Rihanna. We're like, of course he's still obsessed with her. You know what I mean? Anyone who like fucked with her, right? I think that's my logic.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, it's Rihanna.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I would be so. Can you imagine coming out the womb and like? I mean, I guess as a baby, you don't know.
Rihanna's my mom. I won. Rihanna, is that you? Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. That baby's gonna be real fly though.
Oh, for sure.
Like super fly. Like this amazingly well dressed.
Listen, I'm not a fortune teller, but I can't help but imagine this baby is going to be the most emotionally available child.
Oh my gosh.
And in tune with her or himself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They're gonna be so cute. I can't wait to know what their sign is.
I know, me too. I'm excited.
So excited.
Congrats, Riri.
Yes.
And ASAP.
Wishing you a safe and, healthy, happy pregnancy.
And delivery.
Also, since it's February 1st, it is Black History Month, so hey. Shout out to all the amazing Black people out there. You know what I mean? I feel like we've been through a lot as a collective, but we are strong. And I feel like this month, I just want all of us to remember that we are worthy, and even though we still have a lot of like negative things that are happening to us and we're still fighting for a lot of our rights, that we are worthy, and I see you and I love you, and we gonna keep pushing because that's what we do. That's what Black people do. You know what I mean? We push through the hard times and we make life and something out of nothing. And I feel like that's what's really great to me about Black people. It's like we've helped put a stamp on so much in American history. And I feel like people say, Black History Month, Black History. It's like, no, Black history is American history. We are all tied
America was
into
built
one.
On the back of Black people.
Yes. So, put some respect on Black people's names. Maybe Cash App a Black person, you know, for reparations.
And also go through your playlist or the shows you watch and see how many people you listen to or how many of the TV shows you watch, how many Black people are behind that.
Like this year,
especially music,
for sure, for real. Like the music game, come on now, we made this shit. Whether it was inspired, or we started it.
Me and Maya, we were getting ready. What did you say? You said something about how when you go to rap concert.
Oh yeah, I was saying how like when I go to rap concerts now, obviously most rappers are Black, but when you go to a rap concert, you see a lot of white people there.
A lot of white people.
And
a lot of white people love rap.
Yeah.
So when we were conversating, I looked at Maya. I'm like, Maya, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know why, but I feel like in about like 30 years, somehow white people are going to be like, we invented rap. Because they just love to take credit for shit that is clearly not theirs.
They really do.
So you heard it here first.
I know.
They're going to try.
And they definitely will. They definitely will. They definitely will. You know, they tried to say that white people started rock, and that's not true. That was black people. You know what I mean? Come on now. Learn your history. Learn your history. But yeah, I just want this year for more black creatives to also like get their opportunities to like come up and like we can see their shows and stuff like that.
We see how these social media companies and just companies in general that work with black creatives are doing them. They're not giving them the same amount of money as they're giving to their white counterparts.
Right. Which obviously is a huge, huge issue. So pay black creators what you pay white creators.
Or more.
Or more. Because really, we extra original, you know, putting this spice on it and stuff. But yeah, I just want to see more people coming up, more black people coming up, you know, and like making a name for themselves and more firsts. Because I know there's still lots of like firsts that need to happen.
And being supported and accepted as much as white people are, honestly.
And also, can I also just ask in this kind of preachy moment that when we're creating shows, that it's not always about slavery or like police brutality for black people? Because I feel like we've seen a lot of that. And obviously that is a part of our history and our experience. But like, I want to see black people just like living too.
Just being happy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like
in
an insecure.
normal situations.
Yes. Because
Not
that happens
all
too.
these situations where some traumatic event is happening and somehow they have to overcome that.
Right. It's like, yes, we deal with racism and a ton of shit every day, but
also, y'all deserve to be happy and to live a joyous life.
Exactly. I don't always want to see black people dying on screen, too. You know what I mean? I don't always want to see their struggles on screen. Like, we experience it every day.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, happy Black History Month, everybody.
Happy Black History Month, y'all. Okay, so next topic, I want to talk about vulnerability and why vulnerability, even though it's so hard to be vulnerable, why it makes us actually be strong.
Yeah.
Long term, you know? And why being vulnerable is more so about you being vulnerable than the person that you're being vulnerable to. Because I feel like a lot of times we feel like we have to be vulnerable to allow people to understand us or to bond even. Like if I'm vulnerable with you and I tell you something deep, maybe we'll bond. And like that's great and all, but I want more people to understand that being vulnerable is about you and letting yourself know that, hey, it's safe for me to be who I am. Yeah. And even if I'm not accepted or even when I'm being vulnerable, that moment is not accepted, I did that for me. And I don't need a certain reaction. Because a lot of times when I was younger, I felt like when I was vulnerable, it was really hard for me. And if I didn't get the reaction that I was looking for, it kind of made me scared or it kind of made me feel embarrassed to be vulnerable again with that person. Yeah. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that it's not about them. It's more so about me and creating this safe space, like I said, for myself to talk about my deepest, darkest moments, my deepest, darkest feelings, emotions, and not allowing anyone else to take away from that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I totally hear what you're saying. And I feel like when I was younger and I tried to express my vulnerability, just like you said, it would be really frustrating when somebody didn't understand me or kind of pushed back and like wasn't accepting of it. And it does make you feel like damn, maybe I shouldn't be opening up again, or like, fuck, like, am I stupid for thinking this or feeling this way? Because as humans, it's only natural to want like acceptance, you know what I mean? And to be seen and like heard. And so when that doesn't happen, it is really frustrating, but it's like you do have to go back and remember like, well, this isn't really for them. Like, I'm saying it for me.
Exactly.
And a war was starting inside of me. And that's why I had to come out and say it.
Yeah.
You know?
I also just want people to understand that when someone doesn't give you the reaction you're looking for, it has nothing to do with you. Yeah. They are uncomfortable with these feelings that you're expressing because I promise you they have these feelings inside of them. They just are unable to do that for themselves. So when they see you being so vulnerable, it makes them uncomfortable. And if you were to follow suit and every time they were uncomfortable, you stop sharing your vulnerable side, you are doing yourself a disservice. I want people to continue to be uncomfortable and be vulnerable. Yeah. Until that vulnerable side of you, it just comes out easily. I promise you too, when you are vulnerable and easily vulnerable, even if people are uncomfortable at first, you're going to have people come back and be like, hey, the way that you express yourself and how easy it is for me to talk to you, like, I feel like I want to get to that place. It's happened to me so many times where I was able to express my, darkest emotions or things I'm going through, my pain with people recently, and it created a space for them to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's honestly when magic happens, is when you both are being so vulnerable and talking about yourselves in such a honest way that you just feel so comfortable with each other now because of that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want people to remember too, like, again, even though it's not about the other person, even if they reject you in that moment, like, maybe they're taking more time to process. You know what I mean? You don't know that you didn't inspire them to open up or be more vulnerable themselves the next time, So you really shouldn't stop yourself because you're scared, you know what I mean? Or fear of rejection. Like, it's not about them. It's about you accepting yourself. And as soon as you do, like, you feel more comfortable, I feel like, saying it. Or when you realize that. It's not about them. It's like, I'm saying this because this is my declaration.
It's my truth.
Of my truth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I forgot what exactly it was, but I remember I tweeted something about it a while ago, a few years ago, about how I felt regret for being so vulnerable and giving so much of myself to certain people who didn't deserve it. And me right now, when I think back, like, I don't regret any of those moments at all, but I know why I did regret it a few years back is because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I shared the deepest, darkest parts of my soul to people that didn't even know themselves enough and that didn't appreciate it. But also, that's not my business. You know what I mean? Like, that's what their energy brought out of me. If their energy brought out this vulnerable side of me that, wanted to speak out on myself and my life and my history and my emotions, like, that's great. But don't ever get embarrassed over your past and who you opened up to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I feel like those people came into our lives because they were supposed to teach us that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, yeah, it sucks because it wasn't always reciprocated. But I feel like it is something to remember and to, like, appreciate when we do experience that for the first time. Because it's like, it hurts, but now I know who to give it to.
I also feel like vulnerability makes us strong because as you are vulnerable and as you are sharing things about yourself to someone, even though, you can't help but feel like, oh, are they gonna, like, view me in a different way? As you express your truth to people, it helps you understand yourself more. That's why vulnerability is so important. Yes, we can have these feelings in our own minds and not share them with people, but when you are saying it out loud to people, it really helps you understand yourself in a different way. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you guys, sometimes after I had an intimate night with someone, let's say, like, not like sexually, but like intimate, like we were talking about some real shit. Afterwards, the next day, I remember some things I said and I'm like, damn, I didn't even know I felt that way. Mm-hmm. But when you say it out loud, it helps you understand yourself in a completely different way. Sometimes we lie to ourselves in our heads. We tell ourselves, well, no, that didn't hurt me that much, or no, I didn't really care. But then when you're talking to a friend or, let's say, acquaintance, whatever, some shit comes out and you're like, damn, I didn't even know I felt that way. But because you chose to be vulnerable in that moment, you expressed your truth, your truth that maybe you were lying to yourself about.
Yeah.
That's why vulnerability is important. And that's why it doesn't matter how they react. Really, it's about you finally being able to talk about some things that are painful.
Mm-hmm. And you being comfortable then living in your truth afterwards. Because like you said, it's like you're speaking and it's like, oh, wow, I didn't even really know that I felt that way. But now I actually know how to address the problem. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes when you're being vulnerable and just kind of word dumping and like ranting about how you're feeling, truly deep down, it's like something is released. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you can be set free. And it's like, oh, shit, now I know what I need to work on. It's like, fuck, I finally figured it out.
Yeah.
And
sometimes I feel like when we don't say it out loud, the problem is bigger and more intense in our heads. When you finally, bite the bullet, is that what it's called, bite the bullet? When you finally bite the bullet and you share something deep about yourself and someone's like, oh, that happened to me too. And then they start being vulnerable. Like, that also is one of my favorite moments of vulnerability, is when you thought you were alone going through something and you just, take a risk and you share it with someone and they tell you that they also went through that. And that wouldn't have happened if you weren't vulnerable enough to express it. Mm-hmm. I love those conversations because then you start talking about it and you release it together. Mm-hmm. Something that you've been holding on to for a long time that you probably judged yourself about. But now because you were vulnerable, someone else validated your feelings about that situation. Mm-hmm. And now you can let it go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And vulnerability is cool because I feel like when it's happening, it's usually like you wanting to kind of connect with someone, or you're also expressing it because you're scared yourself.
Yeah.
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? And I feel like that is very powerful energy to just kind of be in, where you're like almost reaching a hand out saying like, hey, I went through this too, mm-hmm. to someone that's struggling, or you yourself like, I'm scared, but I need to talk about this, and to me that is very powerful energy to be around, because it's like there's something to be made of this now. Like, well, what do we do with this? Like, I appreciate. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. And two things can happen after you're vulnerable. Someone could look at you and be like, I don't get it. Like, why do you have all these feelings? Mm-hmm. Or someone could actually connect with you in a completely different way than you ever have before. And I love that situation, obviously, because the next time you see that person, you guys just have this like unspoken understanding of each other because of that moment of vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And you could have kept it over the surface. You could have just not talked about anything deep, but because you did, now you guys feel a little bit more comfortable with each other. Mm-hmm. And that to me is the beauty of vulnerability.
Yeah, and of really the human experience, you know what I mean? Because like I said, we all do want to connect and be able to speak our truth, mm-hmm. And I feel like when you're open about how you're feeling and being okay to share it and being bold really to share it, I feel like, beauty happens.
Yeah. And I just have to give myself a little prop because we talked about, the things that were our rising signs are bad at. And for Capricorn, it was opening up to people. And you know how I said Aquarius season, I love hanging out with my friends. And I've been hanging out with a few of my friends the past week and a half. And like, I've had these moments of vulnerability with them. And I've shared things that I usually don't share with certain friends. And I am just so proud of myself because every time it happened, I thought to myself, this isn't about them and their reaction. Like, I just want to share this about myself. I want to share this to them about myself. And it's been nice. And I want to continue to do it because, like I said, it's not about them. It's about me. And I love being vulnerable. I really do.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's kind of showing up for yourself. You know what I mean? And really also kind of showing up for your inner child, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Express yourself so you don't end up like Nate's dad.
But really, no.
And that is a full circle moment.
Yes.
All right, lovely people, charmers, thirds, whoever the hell you want to be. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for hanging out with your girls for another day. We love you guys. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to comment down below or go to our YouTube if you're listening from a podcast streaming platform. What did you guys feel about the Euphoria episode? What do you feel about vulnerability? Talk about any of the topics that we discussed here in our YouTube comments.
Yes. What's your Chinese New Year's zodiac?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let us know down below. Comment the things. We're going to link our socials somewhere around here. We post for our YouTube videos every Monday and Thursday. And then we post a podcast every Wednesday. Also on YouTube, but, on any podcast streaming platform as well.
Don't forget to share it with your friends. Don't forget to leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening. We would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, that really helps us out a lot. We love you guys so, so much.
Hope Aquarius season is still treating y'all right because that's what you deserve.
Yes.
Okay?
Bye.